What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at the Nacelle Biker Mice from Mars Wave 1 figures. So we get our three main Biker Mice from Mars characters, which look really cool. So we have Throttle, Vinnie, and Modo. Of course, like I said, our three main Biker Mice from Mars, which was a 90s TV show. And of course, I'll give you more information about that. But all these look really cool, again, made by the Nacelle company. So here we have Throttle, our main character, the leader of the Biker Mice, and he looks really cool. Of course, nice classic design. My brother had a figure of these characters when I was a kid, so like just seeing this brings me back playing with that action figure. But it looks pretty nice overall and comes with some accessories, so we get additional heads and weapons and everything. So that looks cool, and of course we have the logo from Biker Mice from Mars there. If we turn to the side, so we have Throttle, says leader of the mice with a picture of him, and then we have all three of our characters there on the back, and each one has a little bit of a story. So of course I'll tell you more about them, but kind of goes in the detail about them there, and overall looks cool. So that was Throttle. Then we have Vinnie, so I like how they're each different colors and designs and have their own little unique things. So again, he comes with some extra heads and weapons, and then we have his box as well with his own story there on the back. And then finally we have Modo, which is a nice like bigger bulkier mouse, so that'll look cool. And again, additional heads and weapons there. And then on the back we have his story, so if you want to know a little bit more about him, we have that. So I'm excited to check these out, so let me go and get these open out of the box and we'll take a look at them together. So we're going to start off looking at Throttle, but before that, Biker Mice from Mars was a comedic action-adventure animated series that began airing in September 1993 and ran for 3 seasons with 65 episodes total. And the show features 3 anthropomorphic mice from Mars that escaped a genocide on their race by the fish-like Plutarchians, where they crash-landed on Earth in Chicago, only to discover that the Plutarchians have arrived and our Biker Mice must work to stop them from taking over Earth. So like I said, we have Throttle here, which is the leader of the group, and he's the calm and clear-headed thinker. He keeps Vinnie out of trouble and Modo on track, and we'll see through each figure that the group was injured on a mission, with each receiving like cybernetic implants or whatever. So Throttle received robotic eyes, but they weren't calibrated properly, so he always has to wear sunglasses or his helmet to be able to see, because without them he only sees white. And overall looks pretty cool. Like I said, I remember like this action figure from when I was a kid that my brother had that I played with a lot, so just reminds me of that. At least I assume. I can't remember which mouse, but this looks really familiar, so I assume it was this one. And overall he looks cool, like I said, as the leader. Of course, talking about his injury, he has the sunglasses on, so he has that. And then they are mice, so they have the big like mouse ears, of course the little mouse nose and the buck teeth in front, and little poofs of hair up top for him specifically. And then they are from Mars, so they have these antennas, so each one will have these red antennas sticking off the top of his head, which is cool. And then of course with the ears, he does have some earrings hanging out there, so of course got to be a biker from the 90s with the earring. Then of course to go along with the bikerness, they have a lot of biker like clothes, so he has a leather vest on, so a black leather vest with some studs and stuff around it, and a red like bandana around his neck. And then of course he's all this like tan color, so you can see it on his arms, on his face, and on his midsection there where he's got the abs. He does have a tattoo on the side, which I believe is supposed to be their logo there on his arm, which is cool. Then he has another bandana wrapped around his hand, the red one there with the fingerless glove, so of course for motorcycle rides always got to have the glove. And then the other side he just has like a bracelet on and a bare hand. Then he does have a belt around his nice brown belt that does go around with a little bit of additional pockets here in green, so I love that addition of color. And then of course there is a pistol on his side here, so it's always molded in there so we can't use it or anything, but it's cool it's there. And then he's just got what I assume to be are supposed to be like blue jeans or whatever, but blue pants of some sort, and then they like the little knee pads on the knees. And then he has the biker boots as well, so the thick black leather boots with the straps going around them, so that looks pretty cool overall. And then of course he does have his mouse tail hanging off the back there as well in the same color that matches him. But we can do his movements, so his head will twist all the way around. Can look down that far and up that far. So not a whole lot of movements in the neck there, but the, does move. And also with doing that, I did see the glasses move, so you can take the glasses off if you want, so you can see his eyes under there. So that's cool. Then we go to the shoulders, so the shoulders do come out to 90, and then they can rotate all the way around. We get a bicep twist and the double elbow joint that bends up there, so almost all the way up on itself, with the wrist that'll twist around. And now these do have the ball joints, so it can flex back and forth there. Then we go to the ab crunch, so we have the upper ab crunch, so crunch back and forth and twist around, and then also at the waist will twist around as well. Then we go down to the hips, so they can come up there pretty much to 90, and then out to the side as well that far, so not all the way to the splits. Then we have a thigh twist as well, so just under that ball joint, so it can twist around. And then we get the double knee joint that will bend back that far, so pretty much can kick himself in the butt. Actually goes up above there, but still good movements. We get a shin twist at the top of the boot, and then the foot will flex back and forth and can twist side to side. And then of course, as doing this, the tail fell off, but we can pop the tail back in, and then it has some movements that can move back and forth and twist around, but as you see, it falls out pretty easily. So you can't move it around too much because like I said, it will then fall out. But overall, pretty decent movements. Not obviously not the best, but nice smooth movements with like the elbows and everything. And then in the same with the knee, but then other joints are a little bit like stiffer, like the shoulders, harder to move. But overall, it works out really well. So nice movements all around for these figures. But then we get a number of accessories for each one. So for him, we get an additional head. So we have this head that's just kind of like a smiling face, so his mouth is open there, but otherwise, look exactly the same, just a smile. And then for each one, we will get their biker helmets as well. So that's cool that they included the helmets, and his is pretty nice with the black on the back, silver everywhere else, with the yellow like visor there. So that's pretty cool. Again, we could switch that out, but they will be coming out with their motorcycles as well. So we'll get those, and then obviously you can put them on with that to have them ride in their motorcycles. Then we get some additional hands as well. So we get a set of like cupping hands or more open like hands like this, and of course ones that match each of theirs, and then a set of fist hands as well to go along with it. Then we get a fun accessory of each one will come with a hot dog. So we get this hot dog, of course, with them being in Chicago, makes sense that they have hot dogs, so that looks pretty cool. Again, just easily stick that in their hands. And then they all come with a blaster as well, so this nice cool colors with the red, purple, and yellow designs there. So let's see if we can put this in his hand. So their Throttle has that gun in his hand, so that looks cool. And then finally, they each come with a specialized weapon. So he has a sprocket launcher as it's labeled. So we have this little weapon here that looks pretty cool, and it shoots off these discs. They almost kind of look like hubcaps or something. Like, I don't really know exactly what they are, but you can pull on this and it'll eventually shoot it out, and I think this thing shoots pretty far. Of course, with the plastic, I feel it's not like the best quality, like it would break pretty easily, but you can, like I said, press on this, so it's almost like a syringe. So you just gotta press this section down and it will shoot this off. And like I said, if you do it, it does shoot off pretty far, so it just shoots that out. And with those, we do get 3 of these, so we can shoot out, so in case you lose one or whatever. But that is pretty cool. But let me pop this back on, and with that, it does have a grip piece here, so we can actually put this into his hand, so we can just slide it in. So there, he's got the sprocket launcher in his hand, which looks cool, but I have no clue how he'd fire it unless he pulls it up and like presses it against his chest or something. Not sure how it would work there, but overall, I think that does look pretty cool. So overall, I think for our first figure here of Throttle, he looks pretty awesome. And like I said, just bringing back those memories of playing with the figures that my brother had as a kid. And next up, we have Vinnie, which is the hothead of the group. Now, he's a reckless risk taker because he suffers from an inferiority complex because he is a smaller guy, and he considers himself a ladies' man. And as I mentioned, they each had their injuries. So his was that he had a burn and scarred right side of his face, so he wears a face plate to cover it. So he has this gray face plate on here, which, like I said, I thought it was like a cybernetic piece or whatever, because I thought that they all got so special, like robotic pieces. But his just seems to be like, kind of like a plastic face plate, almost like a Phantom of the Opera mask that he wears on the side of his face there. But overall, I think he looks cool. So he is a white mouse, so it's going to look, relatively similar to Throttle, just all in white this time, or this like creamish color, I guess. But he still has the red antennas, of course, a little bit smaller ears with less fur, but still has like the studs and so earrings, and of course with the big front teeth and little nose there. And then I like his bandana or whatever going around his neck. It's more of got like a pink collar to it with the green bandoliers wrapped around. Otherwise, he's all shirtless, but still has the gloves on his hands, of course the blue pants with the knee pads and boots. So he's pretty much exactly like Throttle, just doesn't have the straps on him there. And then he has the yellow bell around the waist, and of course his tail hanging off the back there. So overall, I think he looks pretty good as well. And now, of course, movement-wise, these will all be the same, so his head will twist all the way around, and it can look down that far and up that far. So it seems like maybe a little bit better movements on him, but still pretty much the same. The shoulders come up to 90, rotate all the way around. We get the bicep twist and the double elbow joint that bends up that far, so not as far it seems, with the wrist twist around, and again on that ball joint, so flex back and forth. So then we get the ab crunch, so the upper crunch can move back and forth and twist around, and then twist around at the waist as well. Then we go to the hips that come up to 90 and out to the side. Thigh twist around there just below the ball. The double knee joint that bends up that far to the back. Shin twist at the top of the boot, and the foot flex back and forth. And of course, we go to the back to the tail, which again has very little movements, because if not, it'll pop out, but move back and forth and twist around there as well. So once again, pretty decent movements. It's nice to have the nice smooth movements. Now, there is a bit of an issue, like if you move the head too much, it easily just pops right off. Like, it's not super loose, like it won't just fall off itself, but it doesn't stick on very tight, so you can easily get that off. So you easily switch out the head heads and stuff, which is nice, but it's just annoying. I'm trying to move and his head keeps falling off. And of course, same with the tail. If you move too much, it will fall off. But he comes with the extra heads as well, so we get a happy face or whatever. So his mouth opens once again, so you can see his tongue. So that's nice. And then we get the helmet head as well. So again, once we get the motorcycles, it'll be cool to have all these heads to be able to put on them. Then we get the additional hands. So again, they more like cupping hands or whatever to hold items, and fist hands as well. And then once again, everything's pretty much going to be the same. So we get the same hot dog. So a hot dog for him to eat, as well as the blaster. So let's put this in his hand. So there's Vinnie with the blaster. And then he has his specialized weapon. So first he comes with a crowbar. So we get this crowbar, which looks pretty cool. Of course, it's big and thick, so hard to be getting into his hands, but it just looks cool there. And then he comes with his more signature weapon of the grip claw. So this is pretty cool. So of course, have the handle there we can put in. And then you can take this piece here and slide it back and forth, so it makes a claw design. So that I think is pretty cool. So let's put this into his other hand. So there he's got the grip claw that he can now grip onto the baddies with. So that's a fun accessory to add with him, just with the nice smooth movements. So there we go, once again adding Vinnie to the collection. And finally, we have Modo, which is the most laid back and gentlest of the group that likes baseball and rock and roll. But he lost his right arm and left eye in the explosion, giving him a robotic arm that gives him great strength and a built-in laser. And then, of course, with the eye, he has the missing eye up there. And so he is the largest of the group, so it's cool that he's, the most gentlest and nicest, with him being the largest. And then he also is a gray mouse, so he's got great design. So, of course, we see gray on his face. I like how he has, like, the fur on top of his ears. Of course, the earrings, once again, already pointed out, he has the eye patch there, so covering his eye he lost. And, of course, those antennae. And then just noticing his teeth, that one's shorter than the other, so I don't know if the one got broken or if they just grew in weird, not sure, but that looks nice. Then we got his armor, so we got this nice purple, red, and dark blue armor on top of him, so it looks very 90-ish for that. So on his chest there, and then his robotic right arm, as it mentioned, so the all robotic arm there. Of course, the gray continuing on with his colors. He has the same wristband as Throttle, with a purple glove there on his left hand, red belt around the waist, and the blue jeans going down, so pretty much similar design, but with purple knee pads with red going around. And then he has a little bit different boot design. Overall same design, just additional molding on it with the purple there, so adds it a little bit different to his biker boots. And then of course his gray tail hanging there off the back as well. But movements obviously will be pretty much the same, so head twist all the way around, look down that far and up that far, so about the same movements Vinnie had. The shoulders do come up to 90 and then can rotate all the way around. We get a bicep twist, and the single elbow joint for this arm can bend up to 90 there, and then the wrist will twist all the way around and hinge up and down. Then we get the ab crunch, so the upper ab crunch back and forth and twist around, so he has the smoothest crunch out of all of them. And then of course twist around at the waist as well. Then we go to the hips that can come up. The hips are a little bit stuck. We had some issue with it, but can only get that one up that far. But this one, if you kind of force it more, can get up as higher as the other ones. But then we have the thigh twist and the double knee joint that'll bend up that far to the back. And then we get the shin twist at the top of the boot, and the foot flex back and forth and twist side to side. And then of course we have the tail on the back that can move back and forth and twist around. So overall the good movements, once again, just a little bit of issues in the hips. So the hips, like I said, have some movements with some of them like going up towards 90, so may have some issues with that a little bit, but otherwise everything works out just fine once again. And then again, same accessory, so we're going to get the additional head with the smile face there. Again, you can see the different size teeth, so that's nice, so I like that head a lot. And then again, we get the helmet head as well, so that looks nice. And then we get the additional hands, so we get the set of fist hands, as well as, again, the more like cupping like hands. Of course, with that, we get the hot dog and then the blaster as well. So let's put the blaster in this left hand. So there, I just put the blaster in his hand there. And then he comes with his signature weapon of the rocket gun. So this looks cool with this nice like gold color with the, I assume, the rocket there at the end. And of course, the grip we can put into his hand. So let's put this in his robotic arm. So there, he's got the rocket gun in there, which of course it's hard to really put in his hand because it's so big. So you can't really get to the hold up too well that you do like that or whatever. So overall, that looks very cool for Modo there. Now that finishes off our 3 biker mice. And there's our biker mice all together, and you can see the size difference between the 3. So Throttle is pretty much our standard figure. I don't know his exact height, but probably just gonna be your standard, with Vinnie being a little bit shorter and Modo being the tallest. So that all looks cool. And of course I want to show you like comparisons stuff to it, but we don't have obviously any biker mice or anything really to compare, so I figured I would just bring another cartoon figure from around the time just so you can see size comparison. So here we have the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Donatello, so you can see how big they are compared to him. So obviously obviously the Ninja Turtles are always smallest, even for the NECA figures. So you can see just the size comparison of them to him. So he's pretty small and they're pretty decent size. And of course, him next to Modo over here is, of course, going to be the tallest. But all three of these look really cool together. And like I said, they're going to be coming out with their motorcycles. So I think we're going to be getting those as well. So that way we can have the 3 motorcycles to go along with each of our guys. So I have to say, overall, they're pretty cool. Nice looking figures that look, you know, exactly like they're supposed to, with pretty good movements. Overall, like I said, just minor things of the heads coming off too easily and the tails falling off when trying to do the other movements. And then, like I said, there is some issues with some of their hips have some bit of issue, like coming up towards 90. But other than that, everything else moves nice and smooth on them, no issues at all. So overall, I think they're pretty good, cool figures. So I'm happy that we got these and excited, like I said, to get the motorcycles and then other characters to go along with them as well. But let me know your opinions on the 3 Biker Mice from Mars figures down in the comments. And if you enjoyed my review, let me know with a like on the video, and don't forget to hit that subscribe to see more of our videos. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.